Good evening. My name is Alan, and today I am facilitating the second of 4 sessions of the Dee Sanction. This is a game of Elizabethan supernatural agents of John Dee, court astrologer to Queen Elizabeth I. The Dee Sanction has recently come out to backers from Paul Baldowski after a successful Kickstarter. I will admit that this is slightly closer to the trad end of the spectrum than I'm necessarily, or maybe the OSR end of the spectrum that I'm normally used to. So the players are being very patient as I try to just wrap my heads around the rule set. This is a game then about condemned heretics. Given a chance to survive, to avoid execution by serving John Dee, Dr Dee, in defense of the realm. And last time we saw our 4 heretics and Catholics and otherwise, people on the wrong side of the law. We saw them traveling north towards Norwich with a bizarre compass in the form of an eyelash suspended in some liquid in a sealed vial. And they broke the night at a rainy, muddy journey. They broke the journey at an old manor, which turns out to be infested with not necessarily the people who own the manor, though their servants are still there. And we left it last time with one of our characters standing over a dead body, but we'll come to that in a moment. So just to say, this game is organized as part of the Gauntlet RPG community's online calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, please search Gauntlet-RPG. If you want to know more about the Gauntlet, check out the video session 1. So without further ado, just for interest, I shall go along the character keeper from right to left. So Puckett, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and tell us about Herr Maximillian Sforz.
Hi there, I am Puckett. I use he, him pronouns, and today I'll be playing Herr Maximillian Schwarz. He's German and something of an herbalist, if you will. And he was seeking out new herbs in England for his medical practice. And it just so happened that he got caught up in a sweep because he's also a druid of sorts. But he's a good Protestant. He believes in the Lutheran Reformation and basically has an issue or two with various churches and religious related things, considering that's what condemned him to death. So mostly he's just trying to get out of this with his skin intact and try to survive.
I am muted. That's a pretty reasonable summary, and I think it is important that we know that you say he was swept up as a herbalist druid. He was swept up, I think, as a witch. He was swept
Witches,
up.
Herbalists.
Yeah, one person's herbalist, another person's witch.
Mm-hmm.
So that conveniently, that takes us to the former witch catcher that swept up Max Schwarz. Paul, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Captain Tobias Slater.
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and I'm playing Tobias Slater, Witch Locator, also he, him. Tobias was secretly a Jesuit Catholic, but I believe that information was divulged, and Tobias no longer has the ear of the Queen. He was one of the court witch finders, or he did some work for the court, so he no longer has the ear of the Queen, and really I think that's where he wants to get back to by any means possible, if Mr. D can make that happen.
And I'm sure that Dr. D has promised you that that's a very reasonable possibility. Whether that is true or not is an entirely different question. Yeah, and the reason you lost your post, I think, is that when you swept up Herr Schwartz, he spotted that you actually were a Catholic, in fact, a Jesuit. So you were going to the stake as a heretic for your Jesuit inclinations. Our third player is had to drop out for a moment, so we'll come back to Theophilus Clark. Hopefully they'll be back shortly. But instead, let me go to Will. Say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Titus Frost.
Hi, my name is Will. My pronouns are he, him. They are those of Titus Frost, a rather simple man from Glastonbury who was inducted into the Octagon Society, a splinter of the Knights Templar, by a wandering pilgrim visiting the Tor. And of course, you know, above the Tor lies the Christ Church, and then below the hills of Somerset lie the hollows where the Fey folk may live. And they have whispered secrets or two to his ears. And, you know, he was swept up in these, you know, when he's poking around for more entryways, ran him afoul of some of the law, and he was sought to be hung for his heresy. And Professor Dr Dee has told him that, you know, he can help him find those secrets and those old ways. But, you know, his favor and his grace. And besides, wouldn't you like to keep your neck?
Absolutely. I can't remember, so if I did say this before, forgive me, but my pronouns are he, him. So we left it last time with Tobias Slater having got, because you reached a reasonably amicable arrangement with the people occupying this manor, these beggars and vagabonds. Such is the state of England. But Tobias, in the dead of night, searched out the old library, and there was tearing the pictures out of books because of his interest in, well, do you want to tell us why, Titus? Remind us why you were tearing the pictures out of any book you could find?
Tobias was tearing pages out of books because Tobias believes that there is hidden symbology in common books, and by collecting all this symbology together, it will in fact reveal information of transcendence. So yes, he was thumbing through all these comic books. Alas, Tobias is not a well-educated man, so he believes the symbology is only in pictures, and the books yielded many pictures with symbology in them, so he's quite happy.
They did. Do make a note of that somewhere on the sheet. Max Schwartz was, there is one particularly dangerous looking individual among these vagabonds, and Max, I think, tried to drug him, but in fact it had the opposite effect. It made him rather aggressive, and Max kind of pointed him in Tobias's direction. He went in search of Tobias while everybody else seemed to be asleep, and came upon Tobias, and there was a fracas in the library, and Tobias killed him. So, Tobias, we open with you standing over the body of Edward, I think was his name. What do you do?
I'm just going to quickly reply to Theophilus in chat, who is not very well. Very well. Yeah, I will. I'm going to get my blunt, rusty cutlass and hack the head of this guy off. Doesn't really matter how many chops, and it doesn't really care about the sound, but I'm going to chop his head grizzly off. You know, lots of bits of neck hanging down, large amounts of sort of like fluid expunging, and I'm going to get my iron spike and mount his head on the spike.
Okay. Now, are you worried about being splashed with blood?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
It's part of the job.
Okay, then I think let me have a physical task. Just see how horrible this looks. So it's a D8, but that will improve to a D10 because you are using your well-notched cutlass. We now know why the cutlass is well-notched.
Yes, it has removed various body parts of various sinners. An 8.
That it comes off. It is exactly as you required. If you want to be very bloody, you can be bloody, or if you want to be not very bloody, you can be not very bloody.
I don't want it to be clean.
Okay, because I just want to know if somebody were to walk into the room now, it would be fairly obvious that you are splashed with blood. Is that?
That's reasonably obvious. I think they would draw the conclusion that I have indeed hacked the head off this man.
Okay, and once you've mounted this head on a spike, what are you going to do with it?
I'm going to walk straight back into the sleeping room where I think everybody is and plonk it on the table.
Maximillian, I think that you are the other awake person, as far as you know, because you kind of sent Edward Archer on his way. And you will see Tobias come back in with the candle that he was reading by, and just put the head on the table. Maximillian, what, if anything, do you do?
I'm glad to see you're a capable soldier. I thought you could handle it, but I wanted to make sure.
He's dead, all right.
Now, Tobias, there was no attempt at secrecy, is the impression I'm getting.
No.
Max, what do you do when you see some of the vagabonds stirring at this conversation and Tobias kind of stomping in?
I point at the head and say, he was the toughest among you lot.
Oh, is this an effort to intimidate?
I think it is. But I'm using my words to do it. I'm basically saying, look at how tough this guy is. He just looks like the rest of you, and yet he took out your biggest and strongest.
I think that probably this is you're cunningly trying to put them off their stroke so I think this is a role for intellectual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm rolling the red dice.
Okay. And do you think that you've got anything that would give you an improvement in your dice?
Besides the head sitting on the table?
I'm going to give you the head on the table. Yeah. I think circumstantial support. So a D6 becomes a D8.
Okay. And let's that is the D8. Okay. Double checking. Are you kidding me?
How could that have gone wrong?
Well, I'm actually wondering because it was the same thing that it actually was. It's the same number that was on it before. So
I have to say I didn't see whether it rolled or not. Did anybody notice?
I didn't see it roll, but it did change from Paul got to Puckett got.
Oh, it is. So it has. Yeah, there's a. Yeah, okay. There we are.
I don't know if the mechanics of it have changed, but it does say something different.
It does. So Puckett did indeed get 2, which is a consequence. Now, okay, would you roll me a D8 again, please, so I can work out what the followers do?
Sure. You want to bet that it's a 2 again?
Probably low is good.
All of them have an outcome.
Oh, it's a 1 this time.
1. Okay.
I could possibly narrate this a bit.
Go on.
I'm going to say that thing there, he was a witch. The potion administered by my friend, the tonic to relieve his pain, is also a device to expose witches. That man was a witch. I am a locator. He is dead.
Max, Upright Tom, you'll remember, is the leader of the vagabonds, and he's got a handful of followers. You've taken out one of them. And
he has what, 4 left besides himself?
I think it's 4 left, yeah. And they were moving towards you, and then Tobias intervenes. Tobias, I think I've already given the benefit of the head. But let's see how your intellectual cunning plays out with your D4. The head is no longer in play. Is there anything else that you think would improve that from a D4 to a D6?
Well, I definitely look like a witch finder.
Yeah.
I have the apparel of a witch finder.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to make you stick with a D4 because we know that
okay, if you want me for a D4, that's fine.
I think roll a D4. What do we get?
2.
A 2. Titus, there is commotion in the room. Max, are you going to back off from them when they come towards you? We're going to stand your ground.
I'm not just going to stand my ground. I'm going to advance.
Oh, okay, fine. So Max is about to enter into a fracas with 2 or 3 of the followers. Another 2 followers and Upright Tom are squaring up to Tobias. And then you wake up, Titus.
Yeah, Titus, rolls over, opens his eyes, sees Edward's head lying on the table, sees Tobias covered in blood with a fucking iron spike driven through this head, for Christ's sake. And then sees them all advancing on Max, and it's like, hold, friends, hold! What madness has befallen? Am I awake, or is this a nightmare?
So what is your intention? What are you hoping to distract them, or is this? Are you just think things are going to unfold?
I mean, I don't. I feel like things have rapidly got away from.
When you went to sleep, everyone was happy.
Everyone, we were all friends. And what has happened here? What foul thing has happened here, friends?
And Upright Tom simply points at the head as the two of his followers with him attack Tobias. Max, you were holding your ground, advancing towards them, so the 3 of them will take that as aggression. The 3 followers will come at you, Max. So let's start with Tobias. So Tobias, this is a physical task. There are 2 of them plus Upright Tom. He will send those ahead. He's no fool. And I think the audience will see Theophilus Clark just slipping out of the room into the hall. So Tobias, that's a D8 improved to a D10 because of your cutlass, I guess, if you're laying about you.
I mean, mechanically, do you want to say I'm at a disadvantage and reduce that by?
No, you're not at a disadvantage. Because these 2 are really cannon fodder.
Oh, okay, very well.
I think the mechanic deals with this.
The D10 it is then. 2.
2. So you fail. Roll me a D8 for.
I think I will use my fortune point
to improve that from a fail to a success. Yeah.
Yes.
Fine. So they will roll a D8. I can't get over the fact that I'm rolling a dice. It's so novel. They do not. They've got a D8 possibility of avoiding your blow. They don't. And you cut one of them down where he stands. Max, there are 3 of them, and you have a stout stick, as I remember.
A staff, yes.
Okay, so what do you do with it? As if I didn't know.
I'd like to do something weird.
Oh, go on.
Can I use my mediumship to channel Edward's soul?
I think that's probably too magical. The only magic you have is your favor of the angels.
I see.
Mediumship is an understanding of being a medium. It isn't that you are a medium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It might allow you to communicate with or understand a spirit that was manifesting, but I don't think it's about summoning spirits.
Is Edward manifesting, considering he was just murdered?
I think just out of interest, let's have the ghost of Edward appear. Would you, to begin with then, roll supernatural, please? No, let's roll unraveling. We have a supernatural event. So Max, you wished for it and it's happened. Would you roll a D8 for unraveling, please?
Happily. That's a 6.
6, not a problem. So you have not been shocked by this. But I think Titus, I'd like you to roll for unraveling 2.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It is a ghost after all.
Yeah, what do I roll for unraveling? I roll a D8.
There's a D8.
Yes. I got an 8.
No problem. And finally, Tobias, as your murder victim, manifests. Not a problem. So all of you stand your ground, but I think I'm going to rule that all the followers immediately run. I mean, this is a ghost, for God's sake. Upright Tom doesn't. Let me think. What will Upright Tom do? Let me roll a D8 to see what Upright Tom will do. No, I think Upright Tom runs as well. Yeah, I was wondering if I could get his special to work, but it doesn't. So Upright Tom runs. Does anybody want to chase them from the building? Looked like you were going to say something, Tobias.
Yeah. I like them at least out of the building.
Oh, yeah, chase them out into the night.
Be gone, witches, evil sorcerers, summoners of spirits.
And I guess that is when, Tobias, as you turn away from the door, there's a candlelight from behind you. And there are Robert and Sarah looking out from the kitchen at the back of the house, fear at all the chaos that has gone on.
Oh, we got rid of your problem. They've decided to hightail it out of here.
What madness was this, friend Slater?
Well, Tobias is out in the hall.
You didn't see the ghost, Titus?
Yeah, step out into the ghost, a spirit, but surely spirits follow such foul deeds as beheading a man and putting his head upon a spike.
Ah, no. A spirit will leave a body when they're a witch or a sorcerer, which that man clearly was.
Ah.
So therefore, my understanding of the situation earlier, I suspected him of being a witch just in a disguise, which is a common tactic of witches. He disguised himself. So therefore, he's a witch.
I admit, sir, you would know more of witches than I. Let us
well, I don't
pretend
pretend to understand them. Understanding of a witch could mean you're in league with a witch. So it's best to be not standing with a witch.
To understand very little, I see, sir.
Yes,
I see.
It's excellent protection, and I would advise you to follow that course. It's served me well.
Max, Edward Archer's spirit is still in the room with you. What are you doing?
I am sitting down, and I'm presuming that in a manner such as this, there would have been wine on the table.
Yeah, there was. There's still the dregs of a jug of wine.
I'm going to pour it in a cup, and I'm going to take a drink.
Mr. Cool.
Spirits don't trouble me.
And therefore, I think the spirit will pass on, will walk towards the light and leave the scene. Robert and Sarah are more than pleased that you have got rid of these people, and they will not come back, sir, they say to Tobias.
Probably not, but once we leave, I'm afraid we cannot attest to that unless you report to the local witch finders that clearly a witch or a coven of witches and sorcerers were discovered, a spirit was seen, they may then offer some additional protection to you.
And I think this is the point where Sarah just glances into the library to see the headless body and screams. Titus, what are you doing out here?
The spirits that Herr Schwartz, friend Robert and friend Sarah, does this, you know, I'm sure that this was that Mr. Slater is correct, and this was the spirit of an evil spirit of a witch, but perhaps has this location ever seen similar spirits or spectres walk the grounds?
No, sir. Thank God. We are grateful. We are not cursed in that way, but I am concerned that there has been a murder. Yes.
One would generally be concerned, and Titus looks at the inflammable Schwartz, who's drinking the dregs of the wine, and Slater covered in blood.
Rest assured, this was no murder. This was, I'm certain, self-defense. The witch was agitated when he left the room. I'm certain that he attacked Tobias, friend Tobias, and that Tobias did only what was necessary, especially after ascertaining that he was a witch, which clearly he was, because the spirit manifested immediately upon his death. Only witches have such powers, you see.
Perhaps we should bury the body, however, for... Are we not Christian men, sir?
Herr Frost, one does not bury the body of a witch, one burns it.
Robert is kind of, you know, back and forth between you in this way. But should I not hie me to Sawbridge tomorrow and seek out the constable?
I have all the jurisdiction I need, dear Robert. So your goodly wife is suffering from the vapors or something. So clearly, yes, that is a most upsetting scene, and for that I do apologise. I had to provide some way for the spirit to leave its host, and that provides the widest aperture that I could find on the man. But do not worry, I shall take care of this, and I will go to the door and shut the door. Now it is clearly out of your sight, so bear it no more thought, and us three will deal with the witch's sorcerer's body. So this place will be expunged of all evil, and you can carry on your routine.
Yes,
I am more concerned, though, about the return of the individuals.
I would not. I see no need to involve the constable. Mr. Slater here has spoken to the Queen herself.
That I have.
And acts under her remit. And if you
I wasn't going to go that far.
I can prepare a draft for your wife to rebalance her humors. I mean, this has clearly been upsetting, and if you like, I can prepare something medicinal to assist her in recovering from this terrible shock.
Titus looks deeply worried at the suggestion of Herr Schwartz doing anything like this. Following what happened after he let somebody do stuff by himself, he's deeply concerned.
I'll sort of whisper, Titus, get the spike ready. It could be another witch.
I think that Robert and Sarah will no, we will retire to bed, and you can probably hear one of the pews being dragged and propped against the door of the chapel where they have made their sleeping arrangements. The following morning, then, are you just going to leave, or are you going to dispose of the body? Titus, what's your view?
I would prefer we bury the body, or burn it or something. For it is a witch or no, we should put the dead to rest, lest they walk after us.
Well, do you know? I think I'm just trying to think. Didn't somebody? Yes, you have a shovel.
I do have a shovel.
Do we open with you dragging the body and a bag with a head in it out into the grounds, Titus?
Yes, and I look at. I look for Theophilus to say some words over it, and then I say, I remember the privy in the trees took them.
Theophilus is gone.
Oh, no.
Theophilus
Fear.
seems to have run into the night with the vagabonds.
I fear that Mr.
I
Clark.
can
No,
say
hang
some
on a
words,
second.
Titus.
Hang on a second, Titus. Finish that, Titus.
I fear Mr. Clark may have had the right idea fleeing this scene. However, Herr Slater, Herr Schwartz, Mr. Slater, perhaps some words to sanctify this sinner on their way?
I know some Latin. Yes.
Oh, Max, how do you feel about the Jesuit speaking over the body?
You will do no such thing. The
I
God
think-
I believe in needs no intermediary in Rome.
Just going to say some words in Latin.
Yes, he doesn't know what they mean.
Pric pro quo, spiritu punto, curriculum vitae. That will do.
Like Boris Johnson's here all over again.
It is. So Titus, you're going to bury the body.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. So that will take kind of the morning. I'm inclined to hard frame us back on the road.
Yes, I think definitely Titus, like trying to be the sort of intermediary between these two very prickly and quite dangerous individuals, he would say.
Both in their own way, really quite dangerous. And so you pass north through Sawbridge, or Sawbridgeworth, I can't remember.
Sawbridgeworth.
And on the northeast to Norfolk on the Norwich Road. As dusk comes on, and Titus, you've got the little vial, haven't you, with the eyelash in?
Mm-hmm.
And the eyelash keeps pointing straight down the road. You know, wherever the road goes, the eyelash points. And towards late afternoon, I would say, you are probably 6 or 7 miles the other side of Sawbridgeworth. And you know, you've passed a number of branches in the road, and every time you've checked them, it's straight on. You come to a branch in the road, and the eyelash emphatically rotates to the left.
I think that's when Titus because I think up until now, right, you could kind of just, it points directly ahead, right, pretty much, and like when you turn with it, it's kind of like maybe it was always pointing that way, and you're not quite sure. And this time he like definitely sees it move as he's
shakes it and tries to point it back on the main road, but no, it's pointing distinctly down this track.
Friends, I feared, I believe these angels have pointed the way.
I do believe God's positioning symbology, that item, is indeed showing us the right direction to go.
I mean, Tobias, do you want to consult your fragments of paper, your pictures torn from the book, to see whether they tell you anything, or are you content to follow the eyelash?
Yes, I think I will try and in the actual light of day, as long as it's not raining.
It's drizzling, but you know, you'll find a tree to stand under if you want to just.
Yeah, I will peruse the stuff I withdrew from the books.
Okay, I think this is a supernatural challenge. I will give you a step up from a D6 to a D8 on the basis of your fragments of cryptic knowledge. Go ahead.
6.
It seems to you that you should do what the eyelash tells you.
I agree.
Max, any view, or will you follow Titus? Titus's suggestion, you need to follow this track.
I'll grumble a bit.
Of course you do.
Not even saying any words.
Rassen, frassen, Dick Dastardly. And so you leave the path. You leave the main north road to Norwich. The road winds on. It is a rutted cart track rather than any kind of well-travelled or well-maintained road. And it winds up through some woodland to the brow of a hill. And you can see it winds down into a kind of shallow valley with a river, stream, small river, actually not a stream, running through it. And on the far side of that stream, there's a ford. On the far side, you can see farm buildings.
Be careful, friends. We have literally taken the left-hand path.
Sinister talk, Schwartz. But perhaps I might have a word with these people first, perhaps. You know, I wouldn't want to task the good lord, the good nobleman here. And I look down at the blood-spattered boots.
Herr Frost, I believe we have shown, Herr Slater especially, that we are quite capable.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed, sir. Indeed, sir. Okay, well, let us be on the path.
Because it must be said that the eyelash is following this track as though it is magnetized. And so you come down, as I say, it's a kind of low, broad valley in which the farm is on the far side of a stream. And you can see there are some fields, a couple of scarecrows up on a rise above the farmhouse, above the farm buildings, and a ford that you just splash through, Titus?
Yes, I walk through with my good boots and my travel cloak.
Indeed, your good boots keep your feet dry.
Yes.
Tobias, what's the state of your boots, apart from blood spattered?
I think quite hold. Yeah, clearly a few times I've jumped out of bed and put my boot through my spike, or my spike through my boot. Yes. So I now, you've got that sort of squelching, trench foot incurring, wet foot situation.
And I guess the same is true of Herr Schwartz, because he spends a lot of time out and about in the countryside. I dare say he's more used to it. And so you trudge across the ford, and there are a handful of buildings. You know, there's some animal pens, there's a barn, there's a farmhouse, and what looks to be a storeroom at the back of that. It seems to be deserted, though, Titus. Herr Schwartz, you're a man of the countryside. Any observations you want to make, or
the entire village seems deserted?
Village, farm. It's a cluster of farm buildings.
Okay.
Literally only one. There's a barn, a farmhouse, what looks to be some kind of store, and some animal pens.
Is there a well?
No, because the river. There's a stream running. You know,
So
almost
they get their water
past
from
the
stream.
door.
Let's see. I'd like to see if I can detect anything supernatural about this place, just from looking around.
Okay.
You know, whether it be herbs or the sense of an unusual calf birthing.
Okay.
Anything along those lines.
Okay. Let's have you roll for a supernatural challenge then. How do the hairs on the back of your neck feel? Are you going to claim an up from your D8?
Let me see if there's anything that I can think of.
Now, mediumship might apply if you were looking to detect spirits.
Yeah.
Folklore might apply, I guess.
So here's an unusual question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I seek to allow a spirit to possess me for the purpose of talking?
Unless the spirit wants to possess you, I don't think you can command it or let it in.
Okay.
and unless you can again, you know, maneuver favor of the angels in that direction.
I'd like to wrap my chain around me, because this is something that I do to secure myself when there is the chance of possession, or I feel there may be the chance of possession.
Okay.
Just to protect those around me.
I don't think that's going to give you a plus in terms of
Sure.
the nature of the way you feel here.
Gotcha.
So a straightforward D8.
That's an 8.
It feels odd. Yeah, you know, I told you it was drizzling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since you crossed the ford, you're conscious that the drizzle has stopped. And as you turn back and look at the path you've been on, you can see that it's become very misty on the other side of the river. Now, whether that is supernatural or not, but it's certainly odd.
Careful, friends. We may be in a soft place.
Tobias, what are you making of this?
I think when he says a soft place, I'm looking underfoot and looking at my squelchy boots, going, it is indeed soft here.
Titus?
Titus looks at the eyelash. And which way does it point?
The eyelash is now rotating in place.
I think whatever Dee has sent us for may be here, my friends. I will take a look in the main house.
So Titus is heading up towards the farmhouse. It's a kind of low building, typical of the type, really kind of late medieval in the sense that it's probably a large hall with some rooms and maybe one upstairs room off the back of at the top of the hall, from the look of it. So not at all uncommon. Thatched roof. Titus, I will tell you for nothing that it is in poor repair. Tobias, Titus is heading for the farmhouse. Do you follow him, or do you want to go somewhere?
Well, I will say to Herr Schwartz, Titus is unarmed, and as such, I think we should at least follow at a reasonable distance, just in case he needs some physical or spiritual assistance.
That's a good question, Titus. Is your shovel, you know, looped over your back, or is it clutched in your hands?
I think it's definitely clutched in his hands. That's you know, everything that's happened. He's not holding it like that. He's holding it down, but like he's very much like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tobias is going to set off after Titus. Max, will you follow, or will you do something else?
I'm going to follow, just because Titus seems the least capable among us so far. He was unnerved at Herr Slater's interactions with Edward, and unnerved with the spirit, and unnerved at the prospect of burning the body instead of burying it. So I want to make sure that Herr Frost comes out of this intact.
Fine. So Titus, you get to the door of the farmhouse, and what do you knock, or you just go in?
I think, you know, I stop and I listen, you know, hear anything, I assume, and you know, I try and push it as carefully open as I can.
And you know, there is a ring and ring handle and latch, and I think it's, you know, it's a kind of click as it, and you push it open into a dimly illuminated hall. So there's a large space it opens into. It comes straight into the hall, and as your eyes adapt to the dark inside, you will see that it is run down, I think is the way I would describe this. You know, as you scan about, no housework has been done here, is the sense you get for some time.
So it appears to have been uninhabited for a while.
I didn't say uninhabited. I said no one has been keeping it up.
Yeah.
And your thought about uninhabited is solved in a way, because out of the shadows at the back of the hall comes a figure.
Like when you say comes, as in like a run towards me?
No, just emerges from the shadows at the back of the hall.
Greetings, good fellow. My name is Mr. Frost, and I am Sir Frost, and I am a traveller. How fare you?
You're late. I've been waiting for you. You're late.
You are expecting us. You know our
Dinner
good
will
friend.
be cold.
Do you know our good friend Garland, perhaps?
I don't know who it was, but I was expecting you.
Oh.
And as he walks towards you past the kind of table that is the centerpiece of the hall, he picks up something and says, I was left coin and told to expect you.
Well, and here we are, my good sir. We were sent to retrieve something from here. Would you know what?
I wouldn't know anything about that. Come, have your food before it gets any colder.
Of course. And who paid you, my friend?
Well, I was told to expect you.
By whom?
So why are you questioning me? And he slumps into the chair at the head of the table. And now that your eyes are slightly better accustomed, you can see that the table is laid.
I was about to do something that's just doing something for the sake of doing something. So
have you crossed the threshold?
Yes.
Okay. Titus, you come to the door. You see what I've described. Titus has gone into the hall. Tobias, what do you do?
Do I get a whiff of food being cooked?
That's a good question. I think I won't. You don't need to. You can smell rotting food, I think it's fair to say. There's a stench of rot.
I will shout forward to Titus, be careful, Mr. Frost. All may not be what it seems. Have your wits about you.
Well, that's not much of a protection.
It's whole D4. I think I will sit down opposite the man and look at the food.
Okay, so it's quite a long table, probably 10 feet long. He sat at the one narrow end. You sit at the foot of the table, in effect.
I suppose so, yes.
Max, Tobias first. Have you crossed the threshold behind Titus?
No, I am quite concerned about this smell. Is it quite? It's definitely rotting, so it's not like farm smell.
No, it is not that healthy, rotting manure kind of smell.
This is rotting flesh smell.
Well, this is rotting food.
Rotting food. So not the smell of a man that's been on the gibbet for some time.
Max, let me come back before I answer Tobias that question. Max, you've come up beside Tobias now. Titus, you see him sitting with his back to you. There are benches along either side of the table, and your host, for want of a better word, says, "Do you not want to eat?" Max, what do you do?
Do I notice anything unusual about the door frame and the doorway?
The door frame. Well, let's see, shall we? Are you looking? I mean, is this supernatural or intellectual?
I'm looking at this supernaturally. I want to see if this is a portal of some sort.
Okay. Then let's have you roll a D8. Is there anything that could turn that into a D10?
I don't think so.
No, nor do I have to say. So let's go with a straight D8.
That's a 3.
Close run thing, but no. I mean, there's a mildewy. When you look at the wood, a bit like the thatch. There's mildew in the thatch. The wood is dank and damp, and when you kind of press it, it's probably a bit spongy, as though it's not had a coat of whitewash of any kind in some time. It kind of fits with the whole rundown sense of the farm as a whole. But no, you don't get a kind of whoa.
So there's nothing unusual about the doorway.
No, it's not a portal, I think, in the sense you're imagining.
In that sense, I'll step through.
Okay. Tobias, you're the only person outside now. Schwartz is heading, I'm thinking, towards the bench to one side of Titus, but he may want to sit nearer your host. I don't know. Oh, you are muted.
I'm very spooked by what I've smelt. I also didn't think that we would get met here. We weren't met on the first night. So I think this is dodgy. So is there
well,
a
I tell you
bar?
what, shall we determine how dodgy it is, given that you feel nervous? Let's have you roll unraveling.
D8.
Yep.
6.
So you're not sufficiently spooked for it to have an effect, but narratively this is odd.
Yeah, I would like to. I will again shout my concerns to the two inside, saying it may not be what it seems. Keep your wits about you. I shall patrol the outside and secure the grounds.
And your host says, close the door, damn you, 'tis cold.
I will no, I will leave the door as it is. So, sorry, I couldn't hear that. Get water from the well.
Sorry.
I'll just look at Slater and kind of shake my head very, almost imperceptibly. Like, no, leave it open.
Okay.
What is this food?
It's rotting food. It's pewter plates with rotting vegetables and maggoty. Well, actually, the meat has gone past maggoty. It's stew that has dried onto the plate.
And I look to our host and I say, a feast that you've prepared for us. Have you eaten already, my lord?
I'm not hungry.
Oh, but we must break food together.
And I am no lord.
Oh,
I'm just
but
a common farmer.
You are a common farmer, and we are in your house, sir. Please, here. And I slide across. I stand up with the plate, and I go over and I grab like a spare one, and I put some food onto it, and I say, here. And I sit down, nearer to him, and I say, come, let us eat together.
Roll me a D8.
Five.
He just stares at it. Completely disinterested. Just and there's a kind of there's a sense of just a broken man about him now you're up close to him. The light's not good in here because while there are a couple of windows, they are grubby and rimed with dirt. So most of the light is coming from that open door.
He seems pretty set on us eating, right? I would like to.
Oh no, I wouldn't. No, don't. There is no sense in which he's forcing your hand. Eat, don't eat. The choice is yours. The food is there for you to be eaten. I was paid for it. And again, he holds up the coin.
I think I'm going to steal that coin from him.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, with a sort of like, yes, good sir, yes, grasping his hands together, and then, like, what a feast it has been. Thank you, you earned your pay, and then step back with a.
Well, certainly that D6 physical challenge becomes a D8 physical challenge.
Mm-hmm. What's Favor of the Angels do again?
It is in effect a small magical effect. Yeah. So anything that you could put into trickle, leak, perplex, drip.
Okay. I think that what I am gonna do is no, because I'd lose it forever. I'll just go with the D8. Screw it. I'm just gonna see if I slip I do an Indiana Jones thing with the glass eye and the coin, you know. But then I'd lose the glass eye forever. So I get a 7.
And you know, you take it from his hand, and it's almost like he doesn't notice it.
Hmm.
And it's a standard coin of the realm.
What's your name, sir?
I am Simon by name.
And are you alone here upon this farm?
My wife is abed. She has not been well.
Oh, what good fortune. This is Herr Schwarz, a learned physician and herbalist from the East.
And of course, those lazy good-for-nothings, Michael and Daniel, they call themselves farm laborers, but they do no labor.
Indeed, I would attest to that, having walked through your fields, sir. What is where are Michael and Daniel, if not?
Oh, who knows? The fat one is probably asleep, and the stupid one is probably staring into space. Max, you've observed this conversation. What are you going to do?
I'm going to look for his wife.
As I think I inferred, the back of the hall, downstairs, it's probably split into a couple of rooms, a kitchen and another room. But then there is a staircase going up one side of the hall to a little kind of balcony, and somewhere up there is where you'd expect to find your host's bedchamber. Before I find out what happens then, let me go back to Tobias. Tobias, when you say you wanted to just, patrol the grounds.
I'd like to walk around the house, see if I can see inside from the outside. If not, is there a barn?
There is a barn. Now that you've got to have a look round, there's a barn over to one side. There's a store, a smaller store building, a shed behind the house, and there are some animal pens down towards the river.
I'd like to go towards the barn and check that out. Unless anything around the house strikes me, can I see anything? I mean, are there windows?
There are.
Pretty
there were
expensive.
a couple of windows, and what I said to the others was from the inside they don't let much light in because they're so grubby. Now, you could kind of, rub at one of them and peer in.
It should clean something off.
Yeah,
a bit of spit.
Indeed. You doublet. And I think that what I can tell, it's very dim in there. So how
can I see my friends?
Well, I think you can certainly see light from the door that you left open. And you will see Max seated on, or what you take to be Max. It would be difficult to prove that in this light. What Max sitting on the bench, perhaps about to do something else, and Titus standing at the other end of the table next to Simon, your host. So
okay, and I can see Simon.
See it. Yeah.
Okay, if all three seem okay, I'm not too concerned about them then. They're still alive.
You're going to head to the barn, was that?
Head to the barn.
Okay. The barn, I have prep. Substantial building, big double door facing down towards the river. And there are some ruts here. There are, the carts come and go the way you'd expect in a farmyard. So it's well trodden, I think it's fair to say. It's not like it's abandoned. So you just undo the leather loop that's holding the door and have a look inside?
Yeah, any animals in there or farm produce stored?
No, not really. I mean, just give me give me an intellectual challenge here. What do you spot?
D4.
Yeah, unless you've got something to bump it up.
No,
No,
one.
no. That you.
Looks pretty normal. I'm no farmer.
You're no farmer. You're a former courtier of sorts. The only interest you've had in barns is how much dry kindling they contain.
Of course.
And so you peer in. There's some light coming in from above. It's a barn. It's what these people have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Max. Max, I think Titus is trying to set you up for a doctor's visit.
Indeed.
And Simon says, but she's asleep.
I don't need to disturb her. I can do an examination by sight.
And Simon gets up and he moves towards the stairs as if to stop you. To be between you and the stairs.
Please, I'm a physician. This is important. If your wife is unwell, she needs attention and care.
I do not want my wife disturbed.
Sir, there are illnesses afoot. There are sicknesses in this land. I can help.
I'm not paying for any of that.
And who paid you precisely, good sir?
I don't know who paid me. I was told to expect someone, and now you want to disturb my wife.
Can you describe who paid you?
I forget. There was a note. There was a note. There was a note. There was a small purse and a note and a coin. And he clearly doesn't want you to go upstairs. You're going to have to do something to get past him.
And where is this note, good sir?
And he has a little note, and it's scrawled on it is 3 guests.
Can I detect anything unusual about this note?
I have to say, I'm not even going to make you roll. It seems to be an entirely mundane piece of scrap paper.
And yet someone knew we were coming.
Well, somebody sent you, I guess. Now go sit. Leave my wife alone.
Sir, I must insist. As a doctor, I must provide care. It is my sworn oath.
Sir, this is a simple matter. He is a traveling a scholar, even, and the study of sickness would be a boon to both the Queen, the country, and God himself, sir. And indeed, I have a small payment that a beneficiary to offer to anyone who would allow him to further his studies. And I pull out the coin that I've just stolen from him and say, further payment for your wife's time, sir, to buy her health.
Let's see if you can distract him so Max could get past him.
Yeah,
because let's try an intellectual challenge then. How convincing are you, Titus?
Well, I'm offering that coin back to him.
Okay, I'll give you one step up for the coin.
Yeah.
That's a whole D6.
That's a whole D6. And Favor of the Angels is once a session, correct?
It is.
Yeah, I think I can call upon it to perplex, perhaps.
You can.
As in to say, that he is unaware even that everything is focused upon the coin in my hand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to know what using Favor of the Angels looks like. What do we see on screen when you use a Favor of the Angels?
On screen, I think it's as I hold out that coin and I whisper the name of the angelic name that was given to me by Dee, and the light. It's quite murky and dark in here, but like there's a hole in the roof, and it's like just light suddenly reflects off that coin.
And his eyes go away from Max towards the coin. Max, what do? He is distracted.
I'm going straight upstairs.
When you get to the top of the stairs, there is a single door which is ajar. And you've been around death and disease enough to know that there is a smell of death in there. I've realized how much I've let the time run on. Time to take a break on that one. It's 22 minutes past now. Shall we be back at 1/2 the hour?
Sure.
Forgive me for that. Got carried away. Thank you. Okay, so we cut straight back to Max. At the top of the stairs, open door, smell of death. What do you do, Max?
Well, this is no time to be brave. But unfortunately, it seems that's the only option I have. So I will step inside this room and I will look around. And I will see if I can see where the stench of death is emanating from.
Okay, it's very obvious. There is a good quality bed and some furniture. Clearly, this is prosperous enough to have furniture. A decent bed, the curtains are drawn, and it's clear that there is a figure on the bed. And that is where the stench of old blood is coming from.
Well, I need light in here, so I will go over to the window and throw open the curtains.
And throw open the window if you like, just get some light in. And as you
and maybe
that,
let the smell out.
Oh, it may be. It illuminates a dead woman. She died in childbirth. It's obvious to you. Would you roll unraveling, please?
And that's a D8, correct?
It is. Oh,
that's a 2.
We get to use the unraveling rules. Okay. It's in the rules, I think. Hang on. Hang on. Where have I got? Oh, no, it's unraveling. I got to tell myself. Okay. When you falter while unraveling, you roll a D8 for an immediate effect and then a D6 for an ongoing consequence. So roll a D8 again to see what the immediate effect on your humor is.
That's another 2.
1 or 2. Phlegm. Immediate response is dulled senses. Acts of perception or problem solving are one step down while in the presence of the source of fear. So working out what's gone on here is going to be disadvantaged right now. And then roll me a D6 for the, hang on, am I right? D6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh yes, and a D6 to see what the ongoing consequence of your phlegm rising.
That's 4.
4. Canker sorrowed, afflicted with a sense of grief, struggling to see worth in self. Right, would you put as one of your condition, please, canker sorrowed? That lasts until the next time you rest.
And that goes under consequences?
That consequences, not conditions, sorry, yes. So right now you have an immediate effect that lasts until the end of this scene. You are shocked and horrified enough for your problem-solving perception to be a step down. Okay.
Sure.
How long? Before I go any further than that, let me cut back downstairs to Titus. Titus, he comes towards you. Do you give him the coin?
I give him the coin. Yes.
And he takes the coin, goes, sits down at the table.
I say, I need to avail myself of the great privy outdoors, my friend. I will see if I can see your farmhands. What was it, Daniel and Michael?
Yes, lazy good-for-nothings that they are.
And where do they sleep, sir?
Well, anywhere. Titus, as you go to leave, you notice, because you took your plate to him, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
It's back at your end of the table. Would you roll unraveling, please?
Which is a D8, isn't it?
It is.
There's a 3, which is, I think, my lowest roll of the entire game.
And sorry, and I should also say for unraveling, your dice drops from a D8 to a D6. But Titus, not yours. Max's, your unraveling is now D6.
So mine drops to a D6?
No, because you rolled a 3. It's only a 1 or 2 that falls.
I see. Yes.
Yeah. But you do notice that. Does that alter your intention to leave?
Do you have servants, sir? Why is this plate back here?
Well, because it is your meal. You are guests. Guests should be fed.
And I'd like. I think what I'd like to do is to make it look like I'm eating this food, but
Okay.
it's rotten food. I don't think I can stomach it down.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
But like I take a huge thing and I'm like, as I like stuff it in my sleeve or something.
Taking the spoon and just bringing it to your mouth, putting it back down. It's dim enough in here, and to be honest, he's not looking. He's kind of just sitting there like that.
Yes. I feel as though there's something must be else here as well.
What's really strange is that he seems now to have forgotten Max entirely.
Yes. Yeah. There is much strange here, but fair little I know how to discern of it. I not having much in the way of those kind of supernatural. That is like gut instinct, right?
It is.
Yeah. Oh, weathering, delusion, mesmerism, geese, glamour, mind control. Perhaps I focus. I call upon the disciplines of the Octagon Society, and I try and find that quiet place where God Himself may be found within. And I focus upon, what is it? Is there anything clouding the mind here? Is there any magics at work? Is there?
Okay, let's have you roll with supernatural. I will
squint. I hold my glass eye up to mine as I look around the room.
Nice try, but no.
No. Okay.
So a D8 supernatural.
Yeah. And you don't call upon your associations; they just give you different skills. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So D8. That's a 1. However, I am going to spend my fortune, which is a reroll, I believe.
Is it a reroll? Yes, it is a reroll. It's not an improvement. I'm sorry, I did that wrong with Paul earlier.
That's a 6.
Okay, well, that's all right then. No, well, clearly something is odd here, but it's not an illusion. This isn't about you. This is about the place.
The place, but there is no, the plate moving, for example, without me seeing anything.
Clearly it has moved back to where it was, but that's to do with something having happened here, not to do with you being glamoured or confused.
Oh, clearly he is being glamoured.
There's something odd about him, yeah. I mean, whether it's whatever it is.
I simply I stand and I look at this desolate man and I take the plate and I throw it to the floor and I say, "You have about worn out my patience, sir. Whatever welcome you have been paid, you were paid far too much." I fling the plate to the floor.
I've just noticed the chat. All I can tell you is that the eyelash continues to spin in place.
Yeah, you described the coin as a mundane, normal
ordinary coin of the realm.
Yeah.
Before I cut back upstairs, see what Max does, I want to know, Tobias, where have you gone after the barn?
I was going to head down towards the animal pens because you said the barn was in the river direction. I think the pens are that way as well.
Yes.
Do I notice though Herr Schwarz opening the bedroom window?
No, I don't. I don't think that, because you're at the barn. You're going from there down to the animal pens. I think it's behind you.
It's behind. Okay.
Yeah, and we know that you're not the sharpest perceiver in the land. So no, I'm going to have you at the animal pens. And where there's a chicken on a post, kind of looking at you as you head down towards the animal pens. Again, you're no farmer, but it is easy to see that the animal pens, you may even see a pig wandering about. One of the animal pens, one of the walls, one of the fences has been broken down. But it looks like, the grass that might have been around here has been eaten down to the ground. There's no sign of animal feed in the pens. You will see the fragments of chicken left, which appear to have been eaten. And as I say, this one chicken on a post that then hops onto the roof of the animal pens as the pig wanders around.
I will worry my beard and say, a very curious farm this seems to be. Very curious farm. Spookily. Yes, a very odd farm indeed. There is clearly the work of Satan himself at work here.
Do you want to test that with the roll of a supernatural challenge? See what your gut instinct tells you?
Yes. Let's see if my hypothesis is indeed backed up.
Okay, so D6. I'm struggling to see any way to step that up.
I would also struggle to see any way to step up. Yeah, I don't think I've got any equipment. Here we go.
A 5, not the summit really. I will let you look around and say, clearly something is odd. Yeah. One of the things you notice is it doesn't appear to have got any darker.
I think we're time is different here. Oddly though, complete mechanics thing on the dice roller, it did move to a 5. The dice is, but actually it didn't actually say I got anything.
No, I know. I've just noticed that the little kind of sign at the top hasn't done anything. I'm just going to.
No, odd. But yes, I definitely think so is something afoot? Does my gut back up my?
Yes, something is afoot. But I will also let you notice, just up on there's a stubbly fallow field. Sorry, a bare fallow field running up from the farmhouse, and just on the horizon up there, perhaps 100 yards away, you can see the outline of 2 figures. One rather short and broad, and one tall and thin. Max, you turn, you saw that, it gave you a very nasty shock. What do you do?
How long has this body been dead?
I think that would be an intellectual challenge. I think that your herbalism, I think I'll give you that as a step up. That will make up for the step down you would normally have. So you're still on a D6.
Okay, rolling D6. That's 4.
I think I can tell you that it has been dead some time. Not months, not weeks, but certainly days. The blood is dried. And I will also tell you that though she died in childbirth, there is no sign of a child.
There's no sign of a child anywhere in the room?
As you search the rest of the room, I will tell you there's no sign of a child.
I'll head back downstairs.
And that is the end of that scene. So the that effect of you being slow-witted will go, but you are stuck with the consequence. Or what did I call it?
Cankered sorrow, if I remember correctly.
Canker sorrowed, yes, afflicted with a sense of grief, struggling to see worth in self. So your confidence is knocked. Yeah. So make a note of that under consequences. And let me come back to Titus. Titus, are you still play acting the eating of the food?
No, I throw my plate on the floor.
Oh, that's right.
As I said, and I say, I will prepare my own food. And I'm going to leave him to it, basically, because he's
Go
seems to be a
through
dead
to
end.
the kitchen, or
Yeah, through to the kitchen, yeah.
and there again you will see a scene of there are some plates here, but they are grubby and dirty. They are layered with old fat. There is no sign that anyone has cooked anything here for some time.
However, this is a kitchen.
It is a kitchen.
I look around me and see if I can scavenge up a blade of some sort.
You can. I will very happily have you roll. Let's see. I think that's probably a search perception intellectual. So let's have you
Yes.
roll a d4.
But I am a scavenger.
You are.
Scavenging, so d6 I would hope.
You do indeed.
So 3.
You do. It's dull. No one has looked after it, but you have a dull blade.
I mean,
It's better than no blade at all.
it's as good as a Vorpal sword in this game, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah. It might as well be the Queen's own golden rapier. Max, you come down the stairs and you heard a clatter. But by the time you get down there, there's nothing on the floor. The table is laid exactly as it was when you arrived. And I think Titus will emerge from the kitchen at the point where you come back down into the hall. And Simon looks at you as though he's never seen you before, Max, and he says, "You're late. Will you not eat?"
Is my plate of food still on the floor?
No.
No.
It's back on the table.
Mm.
I'm going to crack him over the head with my staff.
If in doubt, hit the man. Okay, go ahead. A physical challenge. Do what needs doing.
Alrighty. And then because I'm using my staff, I assume that offsets the step down.
Yeah.
From,
The
canker sorrowed affects me for the entire time.
It does,
and that's always a step down.
That's a step down until you next rest.
Okay.
Yeah. Where it's about your confidence. So I think attacking someone for no apparent reason is an act of confidence. So your D4 physical would have gone down because of that, because you have your staff that steps back up to a D4.
That's a 1.
Now, would you roll a D8, please?
That's 5.
You go to hit him, and he kind of flails at you and knocks you over. It's almost accidental, but it causes no hits, but it causes you to have the consequence bruised.
Okay.
And then he kind of cowers back and looks at you. Titus, what's your reaction to all of that?
As I hear this kerfuffle and step out of the kitchen with the blade into my cloak, and I'm, Herr Schwarz, why are you hitting this man?
Well, I mean, the position is that Schwarz is on the ground.
Oh, yes, sir, you've assaulted my friend?
I offered him food.
Yes, the food, yes, of course, but you attacked him.
I did not.
Then why is he on the floor?
He flew at me when I offered him food.
And Titus...
And who are you? Are you the other guest?
I am Daniel, sir.
You're not Daniel.
No?
No, Daniel is fatter than you are.
Well, then perhaps I am Michael.
And Michael is taller than you are.
But how could we know if we could not find them?
Oh, they're about somewhere.
Well, there is only one way to settle this, sir. We must find them.
Let's cut back to Tobias. You saw these silhouettes up there looking down. on the farm.
I shall point at them and shout, "Hold hard, gentlemen! Do not move. I wish to question you."
They don't move a muscle. It's fair to say.
And I shall trudge in a very trudgingly kind of way at some speed in their direction.
They don't
Squelching.
move. They don't move. When you get about 10 or 15 yards from them, you see that they are both scarecrows.
What foul sorcery is this?
Titus, you want to go in search of Michael and Daniel.
Yes,
Max has clambered onto his feet.
Yeah, I think what I'm ultimately trying to do is try and get through to this guy to take us to them, like, because he's clearly confused and out of things, right? So, but if this fails, then it's just walk away, kind of, if it's a thing that is doable, even.
I spent too long chasing after them, trying to get them to do work. I mean, this farm could be really successful if only they would pull their weight. Max, what about you, having clambered to your feet?
Herr Frost, I fear this entire place is bewitched. We should burn it to the ground.
I see the time on the road with Mr. Slater has served you well, Herr Strauss. Yes, perhaps you are right. This man is clearly quite mad.
And not just that, upstairs. I've seen better visions in an abattoir.
The man's wife.
Are you saying this to one another so he can't be part of this? Because he's gone back to sitting at the table.
I imagine that Herr Schwartz is not a man of subtlety in that regard, personally. I don't know if Puckett wants to disagree on that one, but I think this is a clear conversation that we're having in this.
I think we're just having this over his head, and from everything you've said, I don't know that he's actually noticing.
I think that's probably true.
I said, he is...
At the mention of upstairs, he will say something like, my wife, Helen, she's asleep.
She's dead, sir.
No, she's simply not well.
He is correct in that. She is quite unwell, inasmuch as death is a state of being unwell.
And the child?
There was no sign of a child upstairs, just the sign that she died in childbirth. There was no baby.
And Simon doesn't react to any of this?
No.
No? Perhaps we should find Mr. Slater and leave this man to his madness.
And that would be a natural editorial cut to Mr. Slater, looking at these scarecrows.
How well secured are they? And how bulky are they?
I mean, they look to be straw in as much as they're mounted on two stakes driven into the ground. It might be quite difficult to move the stakes, but you could probably lift them off. One of them is distinctly as broad as he is tall, and the other one is a very long, thin sack of straw.
I would like to remove them from the stakes and sort of drag them towards the house. Because I think due to their bulk, I'm not really going to be able to carry them.
No, I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
You might be able to get the thin one over your shoulder, so to speak.
Yeah, the other one I will definitely sort of drag through the mud.
Fine. I don't have a problem with that. And I guess that might well be what Titus and Max see when they step out of the house. They will see Tobias dragging and carrying these scarecrows back down into the farmyard. Tobias, as you are walking down this slight incline back into the farmyard, you do notice a very odd phenomenon. You didn't notice this on the way up, but as you're walking down the slope, you see what looks to be a very localized snowstorm. It's about 2 yards across and 2 yards deep, and it looks like there's just it's snowing there. There's a light crusting of snow on the bare earth.
Was this to me?
Yeah.
And I will make the sign of the cross. You know, even if I have to put one of these scarecrows down, and proclaim a true sign of acts of witchcraft and sorcery. Here.
Let's see if that is. Let's have you roll supernatural. That's a D6 unless you've got something that knocks it up.
No, I can't really say I'm a connoisseur of snowstorms.
Okay.
D6 it is. A 2.
This is indeed the work of the devil. Roll unraveling, please.
D8. 2.
2. Okay, we get to use unraveling twice in the evening. Roll me a D8 for the immediate effect.
6.
6. Yellow bile. Character fills with bitter rage towards all allies while in the presence of the source of this fear. Take a chance. Act in a selfish way on a falter. Take a chance is simply roll a D6. Odd, even. Odd is falter, even is not.
Here we go. Odd.
Odd is falter. Take a chance. Falter. Yeah. So you will behave selfishly for the rest of this scene. You're interested in yourself. Your allies are simply beneath you. And let's have a look at your ongoing consequence. Roll a D6.
2.
2. Crabbed. Prone to sharp changes in emotional state. Short-tempered. Sharp and loud. My God, there's 2 of them. Max, you look up the slope towards where Tobias is, and he's standing there making the sign of the cross, just into space. There's nothing in front of him, and there are these. He's dropped one of the scarecrows to do it. What do you do, Max?
I yell, "What the devil are you on about, man?"
Tobias, response?
You lowly German Protestant. This is the work of the devil, you fool.
Sir Slater, there is nothing before you. Are you well?
Do you not see it?
No,
or are
sir,
you
no.
befuddled by the devil himself? You lowly commoner.
Come inside, Mr. Slater. Come inside, away from the devil's work.
Foot in that building. It smells of rotten evil.
Ah, yes.
Mr. Slater, we must insist. There's delightful, delicious, warm food in there waiting for your arrival. It's a bounty.
I do not believe you. It smelt of rotten evil.
That's only because of the dead woman upstairs.
A dead woman? To go with these 2 effigies of evil? And I will throw the scarecrow off my shoulder and sort of toss the rotund scarecrow in their direction.
Oh, so is there a fat scarecrow?
There's a fat scarecrow and a thin scarecrow.
Interesting.
Let me just ask
Who are
Tobias.
you to speak to me of food? You know nothing of decent food, you heathen.
Tobias, so there's this localized snowstorm you can see in front of you, or not storm, snow falling down. And just over there, another 30 paces away, are these 2. When you throw the scarecrow, do you throw it through the snowstorm in their direction or directly towards them?
Well, I've got two, so we can have a bit of both.
So one of them goes into the snowstorm, and the other one goes towards them. You just throw them willy-nilly. Yeah. What's interesting, Max and Titus, is that when he throws the thin one in your direction, you see it gonna go, 10 feet towards you. The fat one, he kind of hoys in the same approximate direction, and it disappears. Whereas Tobias will see it sitting in the snow that is falling gently.
Herr Frost, I fear my vision is failing. It appears
No,
that
Herr Schwartz, I saw that too. Oh, I didn't see it, in fact. Slater, stay where you are. Do you
You
see?
two may have been infected by the house.
Do you see the fat scarecrow, Slater?
Of course.
We do not, sir.
Then you are affected by the house.
But we see the thin one.
The house has befuddled your minds.
Perhaps
More
as it is,
so
sir.
because
Perhaps as it is.
you
But
are low and you are foreign.
listen, you courtier ass. Stick that spike right where the sun doesn't shine. Because I am trying to save your life, sir. What if you take a step and you disappear from this land? I have seen it happen.
Are you
God
sure we can't just let him
and
take
the
that
right
step,
will
Herr
protect
Frost?
me.
What was that, Max?
Herr Frost, are you sure we can't just let him take that step and disappear
Oh no,
from this land?
I'm totally going to let him take that. I mean, in fact, I am encouraging Tobias to then prove it to us, sir. Walk to the scarecrow. By all means, show your worth.
Yeah, I will definitely walk in the direction of the scarecrow.
The fat scarecrow. There's that kind of just that light crunch underfoot of newly fallen fresh snow that you feel, Tobias, and then you're standing over the scarecrow. Titus and Max, Tobias has disappeared. What do you do?
Well, that's that then, isn't it? Our work here is done. Let us set
It's
the fire.
strange.
Let us set the house aflame with Simon inside and his wife, and let us burn the barn, and we'll be on our merry.
I
I do
just
fear that
remind
is what
you-
Slater would wish us to do. However, this is not what Sir Dee has
I
tasked
just
us
wanted
with.
to remind you of your mission.
Yes, but I do feel that yes, very definitely what Tobias Slater would want us to do in his passing was to burn everything down.
Certainly, if we tell Mr. D that we burned everything, that would allay the concerns about this magical item, would it not?
I fear
How
he
could
asked
it
us to
survive
retrieve
fire?
it. Well, he asked us
that-
to retrieve it, Herr Schwartz, not to burn it or destroy it. He is a great man with great works, and we must provide him. We are his agents, are we not?
And all that awaits you, if Dr. D is not on your side, is the hangman's noose.
Yes, a
Or-
powerful friend and
or
one
the
that we need.
stake.
Yes.
Are we sure that at this point that the noose is worse?
I will blunder towards the area with a stick, waving in front of me.
and you pass the thin scarecrow,
Yes. I look down and I say, Michael, I presume.
and you walk past that to the space where Tobias was,
Yes, yeah,
and then turn back towards Max
yes.
and see a 2-yard square area of snow where Tobias is standing over a fat scarecrow.
I go back. I try and walk around, like go
Yeah.
through the other way, kind of stuff. It's like, is it like a square, like a circle, like a?
From one side, it looks like a square of ground covered in snow, and space beyond it. There's, but if you walk just around it, you can't see it. It's like walking around the side of a mirror.
I think we have found a place. This is excellent news, Herr Schwartz. Come. And I will step inside because this reminds me very much of the Hollow Hills.
Yeah, I think that's why it's not unraveling, because you know that there are legends of an inner world of lost people and forgotten knowledge. Max, Titus got very excited, took a step and disappeared. Tobias, you will hear the crunch of snow behind you, and it is Titus, because you've been looking down at the farmhouse and you couldn't see Titus or Max. Instead,
So they disappeared and now they appear.
You stepped through, you went to pick up the fat scarecrow, and you look down and you see this. You see the farm, except it is covered with a light crusting of snow. And in fact, there is a boy playing in the snow. And then you hear a crunch behind you. There's no sign in front of you of Titus or Max. Then the snow crunches behind you, and there is Titus. And you're looking back into a square of barren, or not barren, of uncultivated ground. Max, Titus disappeared just like Tobias. What do you do?
I mutter. And I walk.
Yeah, we took that for granted.
I walk toward the area where I saw Titus disappear, poking around with my staff to see if my staff disappears, to make sure that I don't blunder into the same mistake that these damned fools have made.
Well, and what becomes apparent is that this wasn't so much a mistake. You can't blunder into it. There is this, when you come at it from uphill, there's just this area of snowy ground in which you can see Titus and Tobias.
So having seen this, I also want to walk around it in a circle, but I only want to walk halfway around it and then try to walk forward to see if the portal only works one way.
It certainly only works from the snowy face, shall we say. You have to walk downhill into the snow. Because you
so
can't
walking
see the
uphill
snow
through that area has absolutely no effect.
No.
It does nothing.
Now, Tobias, it's on a straight line up to where the scarecrow poles are. Interestingly, though, the scarecrow, one of the scarecrows is back on its pole. The tall, thin one. It's back on the pole. I just thought I'd throw that one in. I'm looking at the clock. It's 7 minutes past 9. I'm going to suggest we take a 5-minute break.
Sure.
Back here at 12 minutes past the hour.
Works for
See you
me.
then. Okay, back from our final break. And yeah, this is odd. What is going on here is odd. Because now, Max, as you look through this side of this cube, I guess you describe it, you can see the snow on the ground. You can see Tobias and Titus, and Tobias is looking around as if to say, I can see lots of stuff in here. Titus has just gone through, so let's ask Titus what he does.
Having gone through, I would like to poke. I look around in wonder, and then poke my head, try and poke back through into the other world.
Yeah, you step back out.
Yeah.
And Max, it's as though Titus just took 2 steps and he's standing in front of you again.
Herr Frost, I wish to conduct an experiment, if you would be so kind.
Come, Herr Schwartz, this is wondrous. Come, this is surely what Mr. Dee had in mind for us.
He asked us to find an item, not a location.
Yes, but perhaps the item must be in here. It must be the way.
Would you be so kind as to help me conduct an experiment, Herr Frost?
Yes, of course, Herr Schwartz, but quickly.
I wish for you to walk inside that snowy area that you just emerged from and take 20 paces forward, and I shall do the same out here. I wish to see if you emerge from the other side, if this is, in fact, something that is as, small as it seems to be, or if it extends deeper.
Oh, I think from the view I saw, it extends deeper. I say, oh, yes, Sir Schwartz, we need make no experiment, and I grab you and pull you through the door.
And I'm going to resist that like all get out.
Okay. Now, I've just been checking the rules. You will notice that I have stepped down your unraveling, Tobias and Max. If you falter when unraveling, the dice drops. It can go back up, but it takes time. I'm also going to delete bruised, because bruised, I think that was an immediate effect. I don't think it's kind of internal bruising or anything. So
okay.
Bruised is gone. So I think, were you surprising him with intellectual, or is this physical bulk, Titus? Because you're a bigger bloke. He's an old man.
I'm definitely going to just pull him in. Yeah.
Physical. Okay,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
for it. So let's roll with physical, and then we'll see how whether Herr Schwartz has enough of his wits was he before he gets pulled through. So
That's
let's have
5.
you roll that D. Oh, so success. Let's have Herr Schwartz roll resistance with physical.
Oh, this ought to go good. So quick question. Do I have to outroll him or do I just need a success?
If you roll 1 or 2, he will fail.
If
No,
I
that
roll
can't
1,
be right. Hang on, that can't be right. No, there's no rule as I can find for PvP. I'm gonna have you pulled through. I don't think you were
Okay.
expecting it. I wasn't. So I'll have you pulled through. So all 3 of you, maybe 2 of you are just fallen through into the snow. Let me cut to Tobias, who's been gazing around while this has been going on. Tobias, as I say, there is a young boy building a snowman down at the edge of the field towards the farmhouse. There is a warm glow from the windows in the farmhouse. But I told you that when you got across the ford, it was like the area across the river became misty. That mist still delineates what you can see. Okay? What do you do, Tobias?
And I can see my 2 comrades.
Yes, they've just fallen through. You saw Titus. Titus disappeared for a moment, and they both reappeared.
Stop manhandling each other. That's the business of the Navy, gentlemen. And maybe foreigners as well. One of you go and get the occupant of that building. Bring him here. Now.
Max, you've been bundled through into this space, and it is a snowy afternoon. Apart from the kind of limits formed by this misty curtain, it looks just like the farm that you've been wandering about. What do you do, Max? Because you've been bundled through here without necessarily wanting to come.
can I still see the other side?
You can. It's the flip side. So when you look uphill, you can see this square of bare earth, which is where you can see your footsteps, for God's sake.
I'm going to run to the house.
Titus, Max is off like a greyhound towards the house.
I scramble up to my feet, look around me with a smile, and I just smile at Tobias Slater's commands, and I say, Herr Schwartz is leaping to the job, sir. And I wave over at the boy. Hello there, boy.
Good day, sir.
Where are we?
Why you were at my father's farm, sir?
Is your father Simon, boy?
No, sir. My father is Stephen. I am Simon.
Well, and what time of year is it again? It's unseasonal weather, no?
No, it is winter time, sir.
Well, let us pay a visit to your father then, Simon.
Because I think Simon is watching as Max runs down. Tobias, yes. Are you interested in Simon or Titus?
Yes, I will shout to the young lad. When is this? What year of the Lord is this?
Why, sir? It is. Now I can't remember when I set this, but it is 30 years ago.
And I will turn to Titus and say, is this not sorcery at play?
Well, that is our work, is it not, Slater? It is sorcery, the work of the angels and all magic. Incredible.
Maybe I will accept the work of angels, but not the work of the devil himself.
Well, let us find which it is, Slater. Let us find which it is.
Max, you are running, using your staff. The old bloke is in motion down towards the farmhouse. What do you do when you get to the farmhouse?
I pound on the door.
Fine. You know, there'll be a kind of lowing of a cow, you know, from the barn. You pound on the door, and there's no response. What
I'm
do
going
you
to
do?
pound on the door some more. I'm just going to like rap on it with my staff even.
No one comes to the door. Do you open it? Or go round the side to look through a window, perhaps?
Yes, let's look through the window. I've gone through enough portals today.
Inside, you see you see the room in which you saw Simon sitting, not 20 minutes gone. But inside, there are 3 women. What makes a woman beautiful to you, Max?
Intelligence and curiosity.
One of them is sitting there with a what looks to be sorting a collection of herbs. Okay. And there are 2 others that I'm going to leave deliberately undescribed at this point. One of them is cradling a what looks to be a babe in swaddling clothes.
Witchcraft.
A time-appropriate description. I think that probably Tobias and Titus, I'm going to have you arrive at the front of the farm just as Max is coming back around to the front door.
And does Hairshot say witches?
I think he probably does. If not, he certainly says witchery.
My friends, we've been ensorcelled. I know not how, I know not with what, but where we are is a place that should not be.
Titus
You've been
opens the door.
bewitched because of your lack of faith in the Pope himself.
Yeah, as seeing the way that this conversation was inevitably going to go, Titus opens the door quickly and bows as he steps inside, takes off his hat.
There are candles that light the hall, but it's lighter in here than those candles should deliver. The wood has a glossy golden glow about it. What is it that makes a woman beautiful to you, Titus?
He's a simple man, isn't he? Strong hips.
Oh, there is a gorgeous woman who is standing there beside the table. She is a thing of beauty.
Oh, well, greetings, good lady. Good lady.
Tobias, do you follow Titus in?
Yes, I do.
And you've put a twin sister in the
I think so, yes. To the buxom one.
There are 2 gorgeous women, flawless skin, long hair, statuesque of build, and then the other one clearly engaged in some work of the mind at the table. Max, do you follow them in, Max, or are you going to stand at the door?
I have followed enough people through enough portals today, and I have been dragged through even more. I shall stand outside in the snow, warmth be damned.
Looking in, or do you want to close the door on them?
If it were only Herr Slater, I would consider it. But Herr Frost deserves not such a fate.
So you're just going to stand there and keep an overwatch. Titus, you were first through the door. One of the very attractive women is cradling this babe in swaddling clothes.
Good ladies, forgive us. how do you all fare? We are travelers, and we seek something here. We are sent from London.
We fare well, thank you. What does her voice remind you of, Titus?
I think the voice actually reminds me of a woman in a long cloak that I met while searching for the Hollow Hills and the Barrows around Somerset. Very like elegant, and it doesn't really fit with the body that Titus is, but it's very well spoken, like ridiculous.
Very well spoken. And she says, what brings you to this place?
Well, we work on behalf of a learned man, and he has sent us here to retrieve something.
A learned man?
Yes, a great man.
A great man?
In service to the Queen.
A queen yet?
Yes, good Queen Liz.
And they look at one another, they look to one another. I do not think we know of such a queen. Tobias, what do you do?
I will ask them, where is the man of the house?
Simon is playing outside, says the one who is sat at the bench sorting herbs, looking up.
Simon is a boy. Where is the man of the house? What is his fate?
Simon plays.
And I will sort of put my hand over my mouth and whisper to Mr. Frost, it's a bloody coven of witches.
No, Sir Slater. But
it is. They disguise their disguises.
Simon told us of his father, Mr. Stephen.
Did he?
Yes. Is he at home?
No, he is not here. Max, you're seeing all this going on. I just want to check in and see if and when you do something.
I am watching with suspicion. Because this is the same farmhouse, and Simon is now a boy. When he was a man, is all the food in the same place on the table that it was?
No, there is no. It's entirely different. There's no table laid. They were at their leisure, it appears, when you arrived. One of them is, as I say, sorting herbs and jars and bottles. Reminds you of that shop you had before you were arrested.
I'm going to turn to Herr Schwartz and say, make yourself useful, man. Go and retrieve the original building custodian through the non-snowy part and bring him here. He could hopefully bring an end to this skullduggery.
Herr Slater, that is the first wise utterance I have heard from you.
They are all wise. You have failed to detect them. But let's not dilly-dally, man. I fear Frost's life is ebbing away from him. He's being drawn in by these women.
I harumph and I walk off to go retrieve the elder Simon from the future.
Fine. So back up the field, past young Simon and his... strangely, that snowman does not appear to have got much bigger. Through into the bare earth, away from the snowy scene, and back down to the farmhouse. I'll come back to you in a moment. Titus, you've heard Tobias send Max off. What do you do?
So they said that that Simon plays, right? Simon is playing.
Yes.
And I say,
it is the happiest day of his life.
Today is the happiest day of young Simon's life.
It is the happiest day of his life.
And the farmhands, Michael, Daniel,
There are no farmhands here.
Ah. Well, if this is the happiest day of Simon's life, perhaps he will appreciate a good trick. I will, and I bow and I say, if Simon is playing, then perhaps so shall I. Perhaps it will be the best day of my life too.
It is the best day of his life. It is the happiest day of his life.
I guess I go over. I'm going over to the younger Simon and trying
So
to
you
sort
leave the hall. Tobias, you're in here with the three of them, unless you leave.
No, but I will try and stay within vision of Titus.
So back up to the door. Look
Yeah.
at them, look out. Look at them, look out.
And I will say to the three crones, you seem to say it's the happiest day of his life. Surely a young boy stands a higher chance of a happier day in his future, like the day he marries a good woman, or the day his woman provides him with sons. How can you say this is his happiest day?
It has always been his happiest day. It is the day we first met him.
That just sort of really goes over Slater's head. You may have heard of me, ladies. I am Tobias Slater, witch locator.
And they look at one another and they say, no.
I believe soon you three will have an appointment with some kindling.
And they just look confused. Max, you're back at the farmhouse. What do?
Is Simon still sitting at the table?
You're late. Are you the guest?
Yes, I have come to take you to see the other guests.
What do you mean, take me?
The other guests are somewhere else. I've come here to retrieve you so that you can visit them.
I don't understand. Have they put you up to this? Michael and Daniel, have they put you up to this?
No, the three women have.
Would you roll? Well, I think, do you notice something about him? I'll give you a choice, supernatural or intellectual.
Supernatural.
Then go for it. I don't think there's.
And I still have that step down, correct?
Canker sorrowed. Let me remind myself what that means. Yeah, you're lacking confidence. Afflicted with a sense of grief, struggling to see worth in self. I think lack of confidence steps it down, yeah.
Okay, so that would be a D6. I don't think I have anything that would help me in this role.
Folklore? Just wondering.
I mean, have I heard tales about the three sisters?
Let's see, shall we?
All right. So I'm rolling with D8 then?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 2. Apparently, I can only roll 2s on a D8 today.
You can. It's obviously the case. Would you roll another D8, please?
That's another bleeping 2.
He bursts into tears. Head down on the table, sobbing.
Tell me, what ails you? What sorrows you?
My wife's ill and the farm hands waste time.
Good sir, your wife is indeed ill. She is very unwell.
She's resting upstairs.
Then I am sure that she will not notice if you come with me for a few moments.
Perhaps. Let's cut to Titus as he approaches Simon. And as I say, the snowman doesn't appear to be growing very much.
And I start to help him with it. And I say, so Simon, is it?
Yes, sir.
I hear today is the happiest day of your life, Simon.
It has been truly a wonderful day, sir.
And what has happened so far, Simon?
Well, I annoyed my father, and he beat me, and I ran off crying, and then I met three ladies who said that they would help me and soothe me, and they were kind to me, and I said that I would always remember this is the happiest day of my life forever.
I don't know how to make of that. I think, yeah.
Well, do you want to challenge yourself with, I don't know, make supernatural sense of that, or common
Yeah,
sense of that?
I'll make a supernatural sense of that, I think.
So that's a D8 unless there's something to move it about.
No, I don't think there is something to move it about.
So a straightforward D8.
It's a D6. It's an 8.
For an ordinary man, it is conceivable that a birth of a child might be the happiest day of his life.
Yes, yeah.
And yet Simon is saying that this will always be the happiest day of my life.
Yes. Okay. And I say, Simon, would you like to play a game with me?
Very well, sir, he says politely.
Can you count? Do you know your numbers, boy?
I do, sir.
Well then, count as many as you have fingers upon one hand, and then follow me as fast as you can. And I run for the and basically I'm trying to just run through the door and let him like chase me through the to the present day.
Through the door of the farm?
No, to the present day. I mean, sorry,
I see. Yeah. So you're racing towards the bare earth, while Max is leading the elder Simon up through the field towards the square of snow. Is that the case, Max?
Indeed.
Max, as you are leading him up there, and he's slump-shouldered, head down, trudging along behind you. I look for them all the time. I can never find them. They are lazy. And then he looks up suddenly and points. He says, "Oh no, it is only the scarecrows." Both the scarecrows are back in their position up on the highest bit of ground. And that's when Titus Frost runs back into reality as far as Max is concerned, followed by a boy. Tobias, you've been trying to keep an eye on everyone, yeah? They're just cooing over the baby. They're paying you no attention at all. But you do see Titus suddenly running up the field, followed by young Simon. What do you do?
I'm quite happy that these three will stay here. So I'm going to follow Titus.
Okay.
Titus, hold hard.
Oh, Titus isn't holding hard. He's going flat out. Simon, after 5, running after him. Max, Titus, the boy Simon, and slump-shouldered Simon. What do you do, Max?
This is interesting because this shouldn't be possible, should it? Like someone existing at 2 points in time simultaneously? This is clearly one of the soft places. I look at Titus and say, is that
Simon. And do they both respond to?
Both of them look up.
Yeah, and I say, Simon, do you remember the happiest day of your life?
And he kind of, it was the day that Helen, it was to do with Helen.
And boy, what? Do you remember this? Do you recognize the man before you?
You're asking young Simon if he recognizes old Simon.
Yes.
Why, he resembles my father slightly, sir.
Simon, this is your son.
And Simon looks at him and says, I do not have a son.
I cough politely. Say, Herr Frost, this may also be Simon.
This is also Simon indeed, but I did not know what would happen, Herr Schwartz, but it is incredible. But a thought occurs to me. He says he has no son, and those women. Who is the baby, young Simon?
Why, which baby, sir?
The baby that your friends have, the women.
Oh, they have no baby, sir. They babied me, rather, perhaps. But they did not have a baby with them.
They did, didn't they? So we saw them with the baby, didn't we?
You did, but he says that when
No,
he met
yeah,
them,
yeah. I'm just trying to keep track of the various, inconsistencies and stuff. Okay, and I think at that, Titus will go pale and dash back through the door and waving his arms towards Slater, saying, "The babe! We were sent for the babe." I fear.
I mean, I'm just curious, Titus. At this point, have you at all inspected the eyelash in the last 40 minutes?
No, I don't think I have. I think
So running toward, and with get the eyelash out, you're running towards, get the baby, Tobias.
Yeah,
And
does
the
it point?
eyelash is not pointing at the farmhouse.
No, where is the eyelash pointing?
It's pointing towards the ford.
Towards the ford.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I come out and I scream the baby, and then, and I'm like, I think that's what Mr. D sent us to, and I look through the eyelash and oh, no, the ford. Well, Mr. Slater, I'm rather confused of what is happening here, but Dee's eyelash says to go to the ford.
What should we do with the witches?
Well, let us retrieve what we were sent here for, and we will answer that question anew.
Then we shall purge this evil from this place. Give me your word. We will set these witches aflame after we have discovered what Mr. D wants us. We have still a duty to Queen and country.
Yes, Sir Slater, yes.
I will take that as your word then, Mr. Frost.
If you wish, Mr. Slater, if you wish.
Onwards.
Max, young Simon, is looking about him and is looking confused. And he says, where's my snowman, sir?
It's difficult to explain. Why don't you stay with this man while I go assist my fellow agents?
And you walk into the snow
again.
And when you pass into the snow, Max, you will see young Simon building a snowman.
As if he hasn't left?
As if he hasn't left.
I'm going to look back to make sure that I still see the Simon that we came out with.
The elder Simon is not where you left him.
What about the younger Simon?
The younger Simon is building a snowman down there.
So it reset.
It looks like it. Oh, you know, it's like the plate. It's almost when you take your eye away from it, it's back where it was. A pattern is emerging. But you can see Titus and Tobias not heading for the farmhouse, but heading down towards the ford.
Herr Schwarz, the eyelash ship points this way. I fear for the babe inside perhaps is Simon's, but it is beyond me, sir, what occurs here. It is perhaps...
There's witchcraft at play.
I fear greater than witches, Sir Slater. I fear the hidden folk.
There is no more insidious evil than...
Herr Slater, kindly cease. We are well aware of your opinions on this matter, as well as the uniqueness, the unusualness of this situation. Is there evil afoot?
Quickly, you doddering old man, to the ford. Pick yourself up. Be a better man, will you? Stop doddering.
Tobias is still clearly crabbed.
Yeah.
And this is not doing the blow that Max's self-confidence took earlier doing it any good. So Titus, I think you're probably the only person with their wits entirely about them at this point.
Yes,
and you do notice as you go down towards the ford, is that as you look about the farm, the only difference, apart from the fact that this farm is well kept, the animals are in the animal pens, all is well with the world and it's snowing, the only significant physical difference is that there's, you know, those kind of roadside shrines where you've got basically a post with a little kind of structure on it. There's one of those beside the ford.
Well, I examine it.
There are a couple of offerings, in the sense of someone's put a little posy of flowers there, somebody else has put a coin there, but on a little plate is a sliver of wood.
Pick it up.
How would you test if this was the item that you have been sent for?
I'd hold the eyelash up and the wood and move it around and see if it still points.
The eyelash will follow the sliver of wood.
And in return,
all three of you are now at the little shrine.
Yeah. In return, I will place my glass eye back in the offering, for I know it is it risks ill favor to take without giving.
Okay, remove the glass eye from your inventory of equipment. Titus seems pretty convinced that this is the item, this sliver of wood. Max, what are you thinking?
I am entirely...
No, hang on, Tobias. Max.
I am entirely inclined to agree with Herr Frost, just so we can get out of this damned place.
Tobias, Titus and Max seem to feel that mission is accomplished.
It is indeed. And now we have God's work to do, Mr. Frost.
Yes, Mr. Slater, yes. Perhaps not the child?
Of course not, unless it shows sign of demonry. But I believe young Simon should be spared, of course. I mean, no heathen. I
mean the babe, sir.
Of course, unless it shows, we must inspect it for signs of corruption. But yes, the 3 crones, we must put them to sleep.
Does this wooden thing have any properties that I can discern?
Would you like to face a supernatural challenge?
Yes, I suppose so. I mean, 8. Oh, God, a 1, and I already used my favor.
It seems to be a mundane sliver of wood to any observation other than the eyelash.
I guess I hold it out to Herr Schwarz and say, "You keep this close, sir."
The sliver of wood rather than the eyelash.
Yes, the sliver of wood. I keep the eyelash, and I say, well, perhaps if you set upon this, Mr. Slater, because I fear to meddle in whatever affairs these creatures are, but
it clearly is not God's or the Queen's work. That is for sure.
Then I shall try and retrieve the babe, and I will let you go about God's work, sir.
Excellent, excellent.
And
young Simon, let's try and save him.
Yes, first things first, sir.
Max, have you got any observation to make about the saving of young Simon? Given that when you left him in one time, and when you came through, he was back in this time.
Herr Slater, Herr Frost, I think our best course of action is to simply retrieve this item and take it back to Herr Dee and leave this place behind. Perhaps it will close off and heal itself once we remove this splinter from it, much as mice remove a thorn from a lion's paw.
There's a risk we cannot take. This cancerous evil could spread.
Then I will allow you to be the physic of such evil. I will have none of it.
So what I'm seeing is Max walking up the field through the snow towards the patch of bare earth. Titus and Tobias, are you heading towards the farmhouse?
Titus is going to try and retrieve that baby.
You will see all three of the women standing at the threshold of the farmhouse, watching you as you approach.
Good ladies, your child there, the babe.
Indeed.
Who is the mother?
It is a foundling.
Is it perhaps, are the parents' names perhaps Simon and Helen?
That might have been their names once.
Just realized that was my next door neighbor's names growing up. So I was like, that was really weird for a second. Yeah. But Simon lives. The boy, the babe should be with the father, the parent.
No.
Well,
It is the law of Queen Elizabeth.
yes, that babe is an English child and is under the Queen's protection, and we are agents of the Queen, I'm afraid.
The child is safe with us. It will always be safe with us.
And
As
it will
is
always,
Simon.
and will it always be a child?
When you say always,
There is no always, but heaven, surely.
then the child is already in heaven.
And I think this is maybe time to use our magic tradecraft thing.
What tradecraft? Because you have the magic tradecraft. How do you want to define this in a way that would perhaps give you an advantage?
I mean, are we deplete? I was thinking of it in terms of depleting or to cancel or neutralize an adversary's mark. These feel like my conception of what an adversary could be.
Okay. So what form do you want this magic to take? We should involve Tobias in this conversation because he's with you at the point at which it could be used.
My feeling is we need the power of true sight.
True sight. I mean, yeah.
To see the real, to see through this magical illusion these crones have weaved, and maybe see this child as what it is, to decide whether it needs saving.
Okay. Yeah, my pitch was going to be like a writ from long ago between the two crowns of whatever, right? Like an ancient document that establishes the current Queen Elizabeth's hold over the citizens born in her land.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I think that sounds
More
like
like
leverage or whatever it's called.
leverage. Yeah, leverage. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I hadn't considered it in terms of, because it would be leverage with a supernatural entity kind of thing. But I agree. Yeah, you're right. Magic's true sight it is then. Dr. Dee's.
What is the item? Is it some kind of lens?
Oh, you were talking about some sort of written proclamation. So,
yeah, but yeah. I don't think
okay.
You chose magic as your and I don't think that would fit.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it could be a spell.
Yeah, like a spell.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay,
reads,
right. Okay. Yeah. So and you just read it.
Yeah.
Curriculum vitae, spiritu di punto.
Yeah, and I don't think that Titus fully knows that this is what's going to happen when he does it. He was handed this document by Dr. Dee, and Dr. Dee said when it, by the servant, and it was when you need it, it will, simply speak these words.
Okay. Then I think what is the true form of these women, Tobias?
It's got to be, hags, crones,
bent and twisted.
the most vile women to the eye you have ever seen.
Okay. The babe is pure.
It shall be saved then.
The farm is an illusion. There is nothing here but forest. You are in a forest glade.
I knew I should have checked my travel document. It would have said this isn't here.
This snowy farm is not here. I'm not saying that the other farm isn't here. And the other thing is that as the item, the sliver, is marching up the field with Herr Schwartz, you can see that there is a sphere, a hemisphere around this area, a bound, a boundary, a ward of some description. And as Herr Schwartz is moving, the edge of that boundary, that ward, is moving with him away from this location. Soon
the babe, Frost, the babe.
Yeah, I guess. I wish I'd held on to the wood now, but that was the kind of consequence of my one. Really, I think about it. I
need to press you. Looking at the time.
Yeah. I spring forward and
I will charge.
Yeah, Slater charges. I yell for Schwartz to throw the wood. Schwartz, we need it.
Okay, let's have you do that physical challenge, Tobias. Can you surprise them and create an opportunity perhaps for Titus to grab the babe?
So I think this is D8 plus my
cutlass
sword.
Yeah.
D10 it is. I've got no reroll.
Do you know you are crabbed at the moment, aren't you? Which I think in context means that you are short-tempered, sharp and loud. I think that I will give you another step up to a D12.
Can I just take the 10 I rolled?
Oh, yeah, okay, then. Yeah. It's not going to get much better than that, is it? Then roll me a D8 for their resistance.
Six.
And then roll me a D8 for... No, that's right. So you inflict a hit, and you drive one of them back from the threshold of the doorway. Yeah. So there are only two of them, Titus. What are you going to do?
I yell, the wood, Schwartz, the wood, and leap for the babe.
Okay, grab the babe. Physical challenge.
Yep. I throw my cloak at one of them? No, I don't think that counts. That's just physical.
Can I
Could
make a
sleight of
suggestion?
hand the cloak for the
Oh,
babe?
sleight of hand, yeah.
I was thinking that you lunge for one of them and then grab the baby
Yeah,
from the third one.
that's
I'll
a
give
good
you
call.
sleight of hand, D6.
D8 then, actually.
D8 in the end, yes.
Oh, that's a whole 2.
Would you roll a D8 again, please?
That's a 3.
3. The minds of all 3 of the women are cast into the minds of all 3 of you as you were all still in the domain. Max hadn't quite left it. Unless silenced through supernatural resistance, brief words can be spoken freely. Protracted conversation requires concentration. They say, we have no quarrel with you. You may take what you wish to steal from us, but you may not have the babe. This is moral quandary time. You can take what Dee has sent you for and leave of your own free will, but the babe is bound to us.
Well, I gave it a shot. Titus is, I think, outmatched here.
Max, they want you to throw the thing that Dr. Dee sent you. Or do you leave with it?
I'm leaving.
Max steps onto the bare ground and leaves the snowy realm. Tobias, Titus is looking very dubious.
But one of them's gone down.
One of them is taken out, is disposed of.
To me, that's we're on a roll here.
That's win-win.
Yeah, 3 becomes 2, and I hope 2 becomes 1. And I will try and bolster Titus's.
Before you do that, the other 2 will attack you if you do not retreat. Yeah? Roll me a D8 for the first one.
4.
4. These voices are going to distract you unless you resist it with your supernatural will.
I will attempt to resist.
Do that.
My supernatural is a 6. 2.
2. You do not resist, so you are now confused. You have the disadvantage confused. The second one attacks you. Roll a D8.
5.
5. Faithful fields, commanding the land about them to rise up to provide something. As the ground swarms or churns. Okay. The ground beneath you, Tobias, rises up, and almost as a mound of the land, like whipping a carpet, propels you and Titus away from the farmhouse and back into the real world. Is that a sign from God, Tobias?
Can we still see them?
No, all you can see now is the same square of snowy ground that you saw before.
I will turn to Titus and say, they seem to have had the upper hand on us there, Mr. Frost. We need to gather our forces and come back with more help from Mr. Dee.
Yes, you should come back, Slater. You should definitely come back. Herr Schwartz, wait up, Herr Schwartz.
I'll yell, Herr Slater, if you wish to remain here, we will send reinforcements to you.
No, this requires my assessment. I was there.
Oh,
You,
yeah.
like a coward, were not.
I did my job. Well, you decided to do something else.
Hardly, I feel.
Perhaps Herr Schwartz is right, and you should keep watch upon the site, Mr. Slater, and we will send word back from Dee.
Titus says this over his shoulder as he begins to move quickly towards the ford, is my sense.
Yeah.
Max, you staying or are you going?
Oh, I'm gone.
Tobias, do you follow?
I will follow.
And you will cross the ford. As you walk across through the water, the mist clears and it's light drizzle. It appears to be late in the day, almost at the point you arrived here. And that, I think, is where we'll call it, because I've overrun horribly. I apologize. Have we got 5 minutes for stars and wishes?
Sure.
Okay, let's go. Puckett, stars?
Stars for presenting a confusing situation that kept me utterly bewildered to the end and giving my character a chance to basically say, right, this is what we're looking for. I'm out. You want to puzzle through this? Be my guest. I am not that curious. So Paul, I really liked how you played Slater as a character who is hell-bent upon what he perceives as his duty, regardless of whether that supersedes mission requirements, if that makes sense. Like, this is what is right. This is what is noble. This is what is just. And pursuing that at all costs. Will, I like how you're someplace in the middle and just like kind of almost like all of this is over your head and you're just trying to survive. It's like, are you curious about this? A little bit. Not so much that you really want to risk your life or risk getting stuck there. You know, yeah. Your instinct for self-preservation wins out. I can respect that. So I appreciate the way that both of you are playing your characters, because it's well, you're kind of almost like playing a fulcrum on a seesaw or a teeter-totter.
Yeah.
Between two unhinged people of varying degrees of unhingedness.
Yeah, the hinge just moves a different way, I think, for these two other characters.
Yeah.
Will, what about you? Stars?
Yeah, I thought it was obviously confusing, but it was interesting. You're quite, you're not like D&D wizards, so it's, what do you do in the inexplicable situation? You can't just cast like identify and find out, right? You have to, and I enjoyed experimenting with all of it and the sort of our different reactions to everything in front of us. And I love Herr Schwartz, because that does drive us forward, because these are scenes where it's like, I don't know what to do. And Slater is definitely like, burn the witches, kill the people. It drives us forward. And then I enjoy, but I think with the other, it gives us room to do the other stuff, like to flesh out that information while you're stomping through and like burn the witches, bringing us into the conflicts and resolving them, right? Because I'm going to hide in that church and hopefully no one's going to kill me. But yeah, it's good. It's interesting to play a game like this again.
Isn't it odd? Isn't it interesting?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a game like this, really. I mean, it's very different,
Well, I think it's meant to be different. Is in truth. Paul, any stars?
Yeah, I thought there was actually good teamwork there throughout the group. The scene in the manor at the start, I thought that was a winner chicken dinner there, Puckett. That was really good. What you did there, I thought that was great. And yeah, the sort of yin and the yang, and Will in between. And Will, yeah, you did bring some good normality to it. You were the only one that didn't seem to fail a roll. That pushed us in even further directions apart. And to you, Alan, I pushed the let's break the party apart, but that worked really well, I thought. And the mechanics are a bit weird, but I think it really helped this evening. I think the effect Puckett got and the effect I got, I thought added a lot to the session. It's a shame Sabine wasn't here to sort of experience it and maybe back Will up every now and then. But yeah, I think I did get a bit confused with actually it wasn't just about burning witches. I think when I got that effect on me, it did totally turn into let's just burn them. Yeah, I thought the mechanics were really good.
I'd agree with you. I think that they are interesting. I like the fact that it's been a long time since I rolled on the table to work out what am I now expecting you to role play. But maybe it's just a novelty, but I found that quite charming.
And the 1 or 2 failure, it still comes into play.
It does.
It's not a lot, but it does come into play quite a bit.
It makes that D4 a bit chancy, doesn't it?
It does.
My stars. Thank you all for patiently working through the mechanics with me as we try to work out how that ran exactly. I think we're getting there. You can erase all the consequences for next time because you will have rested sufficiently, I think, before the next mission. But yeah, Titus is the common man. He's the audience viewer. And then we've got these 2 extremes of kind of worldviews. Which is absolutely spot on for the time, to be honest. Wishes, Puckett, anything you want to see next time?
Consequences. Because while it's true that Schwartz did his job and did exactly what Dee asked, I wonder if there's any fallout either from whatever realm they entered or from the team members. So, and a quick question, since we're resetting all of the conditions, does that also reset our unraveling die, or does that stay?
No, unraveling is a burning fuse.
Okay.
That requires, I think it says somewhere, check out the tab, but I think it says something like cannot recover without rest or professional intervention like a doctor. A night of rest will restore a night of rest will restore 1 lost die. With professional intervention. So let's read that as backup by next time. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I've not read that in enough detail.
I don't mind if it continues to go lower. I think it's quite good mechanic.
No, that encourages me to force unraveling on you more often. I was a bit nervous in the second half of tonight that I would push you too far, but now I've understood the rule. We're on safer ground. Will, any wishes?
I have no idea. None at all. It's a very bewildering kind of setting and premise. I don't know what kind of occultism is going to, you know what I mean? Like, what's it going to be? Because everything under the sun appears to be in this game, really. Like,
I think that might well be true. Certainly the way I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Paul, any wishes?
More the same. I must admit, I was very confused. For 2 hours, confusion is good, but maybe for the last hour, if the Lego starts to be connected at that stage, I'm not. I don't think a Miro board would have got us out of this tonight. I still think we would have been confused.
I have to say, that's partly me struggling to process an adventure, which has a lot of set pieces.
It was enjoyable.
But I think that what I need to get happier doing is moving away from the adventure as written.
Yeah,
I'm so now used to the player die rolls doing that for me that I'm a bit rusty, if I'm honest. So that is something for me to think about. I can definitely aim for that. But yeah, I mean, my wish is that I have a sufficient confidence with the mechanics to stop worrying about what's written and just follow the player's lead in a more story gamey way, which is probably not the way it's intended, I'll be honest with you, but I think it's the only way I can process it these days. I am so sorry. We started late and we are now overrunning, so I'm going to stop the recording